Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to episode 119 of In a Good Way podcast. Today, obviously, it's 888 Lionsgate. Usually it's just the 88, but obviously, year 2024 is an 8 year. So, it's an interesting year. Even right now, as I'm talking, I feel like my throat chakra, it's been acting up since yesterday. And it's like it just comes and goes, right? It's like these pulses, where I feel the energy. So right away, I'm asking myself, okay, what am I not saying, right? And I know, like, even one interview I did, well, the last one, right, with Gwendolyn, I edited some stuff out, and that's been a recurring theme for me when I'll do things like that. And I definitely feel like I have to be better at not deleting stuff, right? Um, things like that. And kind of what I wanted to share is kind of because I've been getting a ton of like synchronicities about this story that I'm gonna share. And it's more of an adult story. So just in case if anybody doesn't like adult themed stories, uh then yeah, this isn't gonna be for you, right? So maybe I don't know, people don't, but I'm gonna speak a little more about something that happened to me with an adult theme, but where it clearly was like one of those freaky things, right? Like from the spirit world, right? Where it kind of checked me in a way, right? Where it was like, okay, there's no way this is even possible that this could be happening, right? I just wanted to make sure that my mic is okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure I was talking through the mic. Okay, so anyways, yeah. So I'm gonna share something that happened. So let me talk real quick about this 888. So yesterday I went to the mountains kind of as the sun was setting, right before it set. But by the time I was finishing, the sun was already set. Um, about my halfway point, right? So then the whole way back, it was already set, and then it was just getting darker and darker. And so as I'm getting near the end, lo and behold, there's bats, right? And bats to me has always been the last time encounter I had with a bat, it brought in a big old um phase of shadow work, right? Which was very uncomfortable. But I knew, but I've already been in this where I've even been saying like, oh, I can see like with the road closed, right? I made a video, the one before I interviewed Gwendolyn, Mystical Lady 333. Before I interviewed her, I did one by myself where I was talking about the road was closed and this and that. So it's kind of like I've been seeing this, right? This recurring theme, even today, right? I was talking about work specifically. And even that today, like they had called me to go to work and I was taking a nap. So by the time I woke up, it was last minute, but it was like they're like, oh yeah, sorry, a little too late, but they were like, but definitely, boom, yeah, the number's there, so I could call. They're like, next time you see something, boom, just call, basically text directly, call directly. But I just thought it was funny, like, man, they're really like I don't know, it feels very obvious, right? Like the spirit world. And when you don't listen, that's obviously right where the tower moments, the shadow phase of that is not wanting to accept something, even though you're getting that assist, right? So that's kind of I'm getting the assistance from the spirit world and everything, but there's always that stubbornness of not wanting to accept, right? The most obvious is like relationships, things like that, right? Our jobs are just as accurate, right? That you can see it playing out as a relationship. Because a relationship, you can know it's not good, but you'll make every excuse to stay in that, and that's what makes it toxic, right? It's like water that just stays there, and then all these things keep getting thrown into it, and that's what starts making the water toxic, right? So the same. It's about staying in that same situation and all these things, and then it starts brewing like the toxic stuff, right? So the same like with the job, right? Knowing you're not happy there, and then things like that. But in this case, I am happy there, but it's like other factors, right? Nonetheless, and it could be just for a time, right? But I feel like it keeps being thrown in there, even things like that, like an act of God kind of thing, right? Like I get hit up for something, I get called for something, and then I happen to be taking a nap, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, all right, fine. So that's kind of the shadow work in the sake of being. See, like usually I wouldn't want to leave this in. I'd want to delete this because, I feel like it's really nobody's business. That it feels personal, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, what better way to show the example of like the shadow work, for example, right? That I'm going through. And it shouldn't really, because that once I really get a grasp on it, it's not uncomfortable at all. It's normal to me. It's an everyday thing, right? And that's kind of the story I'm gonna head into right now. The quick story is not that long, but like I said, it is adult themed, right? So the bats, yeah, the bats this time it didn't feel so like that, like oh my, like because I'm kind of used to it by now. That's the thing. But in other situations, I felt that like the ominous thing, right? Like where how they would say like when you see a movie and it says ominous music playing, right? Or stuff like that. It didn't feel that ominous. It was just like it even felt because that was one thing. It's funny. A long time ago, someone told me about the bats. They're like, oh, where I used to go to ceremony, right? The ranch. Sometimes bats, as we were getting ready to go in a ceremony, there would always be bats and stuff. So even back then, I didn't really know about. So that never hit me in that, oh, this is shadow work. No, it was like, oh, because bats are very family oriented. Is that how you say oriented or orientated or oriented, right? Family, they love their family, right? The bats. So, when I was in ceremony, it was always a family setting. And then obviously that nocturnal thing and being very psychic, right? They use the echolocation. They're very aware of their other senses, right? They use their other senses, right? More than they do even like their physical eyes and all that. So it all made sense in that spiritual way. But these times when I ran into them, it was different, right? It was more like the shadow work aspect, right? Because all the same things, right? The nocturnal, the things like from the other side, right? So but this was a funny. Oh yeah, they told me that how the bats when they're flying around you, they're eating all the little insects. Like I don't know about you, but I get bugged by the insects, and I can't stand. I get bit, and then I start getting little knots all over from the bites and stuff. So it's beautiful to know the bats are helping us, right? Like if you're standing there, they're not gonna attack humans, right? Or at least not those bats, like the little ones, right? They're eating up all the insects because the ants for some reason they're attracted to us, right? The insects will start bugging people, so the bats are flying over your head, eating up all the insects, and so that's what it was doing yesterday. Well, there was a lot after, but the first one that came, and then it got kind of close, but it was eating all the little insects, right? And I had my light on too, like from on my bike, right? I had the light on, so all the insects were kind of being drawn to the light, I believe, and so here comes the bats to help, right, and assist. So like I said, right, there's like this shadow thing, but I'm getting a lot of assistance. I'm just being in a way stubborn of not letting go completely, right? I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at. But not to say, it's like yeah, so I'll just cut that with that because obviously there's other aspects to that. Like things can always return because that's not really a completely that's something that's open now for me basically for the rest of my life if I want to come back to that, right? Just like the music, I have that understanding now. I could always come back to it. It's really there for the rest of my life now. So maybe the same, right? Like that is acting situation, but right now I'm being thrown into a different road or down a different road for a time being. And it could be a month, 2 months, 3 months. Who knows? I don't really know exactly. But that's the thing is like um, to not be fixed on that, right? Because it doesn't matter. That's kind of what I'm being shown, right? Like let go, right? Like that saying, let go, let God kind of thing, right? So let go, let God kind of thing. So, one of the stories I wanted to share that was crazy. Um, and like I said, I've been getting all these little things about sharing it. Okay, so let me just, yeah, so that whole 880 Lionsgate. So that's kind of how, oh, okay, so yeah, this was an important thing, is that to, like, I heard someone say, and it was funny because I guess my little psychic stuff has been really on point right now, right? Like that morning I woke up and for some reason, I haven't, and he used to be my favorite artist, but I haven't listened to him in a long time. Tupac, right? I was like, you know what? I don't know. I'm hearing Tupac. I started playing some Tupac as I was cleaning or doing things. And then I saw that this live comes on and I click on it, and it's this person, right? They're giving this whole thing about the Lionsgate and this and that. And I guess someone calls their phone and it goes off, and then a Tupac song comes on. And I was like, what? Like, talk about a synchronicity. I was just like, something made me play Tupac. And then, the same, like I hear someone's name and then boom, they end up calling me like the next day, like that I hadn't spoken to in a while. So there's been a lot of things that have been very like psychic lately, right? Like very like predictive, but inside my head, right? Like it'll be like, oh, I feel like listening to Tupac. Boom, someone's thing pops up on it's Tupac, right? And they're in another country and this and that. Then um so even that, right? The fact that they weren't even like in the US and then they're in another country and then Tupac comes up on their thing. So I was like, whoa, that was very synchronistic, very psychic kind of thing, right? And it also shows how we really are all connected in a way, right? But anyway, so then even the thing, someone pops in my head randomly that, like hasn't even popped in my head in a long time, and then boom, I have a call, right? This and that. So just like that, it's been very sensitive. I don't know if it's just this Lionsgate thing or if it's kind of like it's leading me into being going forward just a lot more sensitive. But also this person that I was listening to, they begin talking about like that, like making sure what you want to carry with you into this new, you know, past this whole. I still don't know 100% why the whole thing's called the Lionsgate portal and this and that, blah, blah, blah. But crazy things have always happened to me on this day when I wasn't really sure about it. Like, I didn't know what the big deal was, but crazy things where I was like, oh, wow, there is something about this day because it was just freakish things that would happen, right? So, that's why I believe in this day because, you know, in case I haven't said it, most things I believe in is because I've seen them, right? So that's kind of the thing. So, anyways, yeah, it was about not taking things going forward with you that you don't want to take forward with you, right? So that's something that's really important. So right now, I don't know. That's why maybe I've been hesitant about like, you know, feeling like your whole life is kind of changing is always uncomfortable, but I've been seeing weird things. I've been driving and a butterfly will come land on my windshield, and it's like, I usually doesn't happen, or I can't even remember when it has happened, right? So there's a lot of transformative things happening, right? Butterflies are it's always nice to see one, right? It always brings your spirit up. So I know it's always like, okay, there's been just so many things happening, things like that, right? So anyway, let me share this story. So like I said, this is an adult themed story. So if you don't want to listen to it, you don't have to. But it's something freakish that happened. I would say I know at least before 2019. So from 2018, 2017, somewhere maybe around there. There was this interesting thing that happened, right? And I even felt like, is that why my throat chakras? Because I felt like I was being guided to share this story. And then I was just like, nah. But it's just like, you know, one of hundreds or thousands of stories of things that have happened to me. So, during that time, right, 2017, 2019. So it would be, I mean, 2018, right? Because it was definitely before my brother passed away, right? Because after that, I was like, I didn't care about anything like related to this, right? So I had met this one girl, right? And she was a stripper, right? So she ends up telling me to go visit her at the strip club, right? So I go to the strip club, and when I'm there, whatever, like whatever, I get a dance from her to whatever, be nice or be supportive or whatever. Um, Yeah, I remember I used to have this shirt when I was like, someone bought it for me too, but it was like when I was probably like, I don't know, 20 something years old, right? And it said like, I support single moms, and they had like the strippers. I don't know why that popped in my head right now with this story, but anyways, I was being supportive, right? And so I go, she's like, oh, come visit me at the strip club. I was like, all right, screw it. I don't got nothing to do. I go, I hadn't been to one in a good while. And so I go visit her and whatever. I get a dance from her and we go, and then, she like, which was weird because that's not really a normal thing that happens, right? But like she pulls down my pants, right? But I still have my boxers on and everything, but she pulls down my pants, right? And so, she's doing her thing, whatever, but, obviously being real aggressive and this and that. And whatever, So then after, I end up going pee, right? And it kind of I feel like a little burn. So I'm like, I get scared. I'm someone that's very like scared of all that. So I get really freaked out, right? So first thing in the morning, I'm like, oh man, like what the hell? Like that's what I get, blah blah blah. But I have my boxers on the whole time. But she was just like being like real aggressive. So I was like, oh, maybe I thought maybe it's just rug burn kind of thing, right? But I was like, let me just go, just in case. Let me just go to the doctor. So first thing in the morning, I go to the doctor, right? And I end up stuck there all day too, I think. So that was another thing. It was like one of those weird things, right? Like I felt like the spirit world was like checking me in that way, right? So, anyways, I think it's been hopefully like she's retired by now with that, or so, or something, whatever, right? But this is, I'm gonna say why the story is so interesting, because so I go to the doctor, right? I'm getting whatever the blood work that is. I don't know. I think I was just like, I told them, well, I haven't done all this in a while, like. So I told them to just do everything, right? Check me just for everything, because I was just like scared or whatever, right? Um, so obviously, right, everything, like, okay, while I'm getting all this stuff, I look out the window and then the street name is the same name as the stripper as she used. So I was like, what? You gotta be kidding me. So I'm like, wow, like talk about a cruel joke from like the spirit world, right? Well, her name was, I'll just say it, right? Because like I said, hopefully she's not out and about still, right? Because I haven't talked to her for years, right? Or something. But anyways, it was like her name was Iris, right? That's I think she explained to me why she chose that name as a stripper, right? Because it's an unusual name for a stripper. But she chose the name Iris, right? So when I'm there at the doctor, I look out the street and the street is called Iris Street. So I'm like, what? I'm like, oh man, like, so it kind of made me nervous. Like, don't tell me something is gonna be wrong, and then like the spirit world showing me, you see, like that's what you get, kind of thing, Even though I didn't feel like there was nothing wrong, but I guess maybe at that point I was already getting pushed into the spiritual path, kind of thing, right? So that's why it was like trying to tell me, like, hey, you don't need to be in these environments, right? Kind of thing, whatever, right? So, anyways, after that, everything comes back clean, everything's good. Oh, okay, wait, they sent me to to a room, right? They put me in a room while I'm waiting for the results. That's what happened. So all that happened, whatever. I go to the doctor, you know, um, I look out the window. The girl's name was Iris. Her stripper name, whatever. Then the street was called Iris. And then while I'm sitting in the inside the room by myself, this old man walks in out of nowhere. He's like, hey, and I'm like, what the hell? That in all my years going to the doctor, never has that happened to me. Where some random person comes from, just another room, and they walk into my room, and it's this old man, and he looks all like, it was just weird. And he comes, he's like, hey, look it, do you see there's something? I was like, I don't know. Did you tell the doctor? He's like, no, but look it, come here, look. And he keeps pointing to his eye, right? And so I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like, go, like, look for the doctor, something. It was just weirding me out that someone walks into my room. Like, the doctors are very, I've never had that happen, right? So I was like freaked out, like, why in the hell? I was like, man, that was weird. Like, it felt very, because they even looked lost. Like, it felt like, you hear about walk-ins and all that. So this was like, it felt like they didn't know where they were, kind of thing. Like, oh, but look at my eye, this old man. And then so after when I get home, everything comes back clean. Boom, boom, boom. I got nothing, so I'm good. So I was like, okay, cool. It's just like I guess the rug burn kind of thing, right? But anyways, so when I get home, it pops in my head. I was like, oh my goodness, the old man iris, right? He was pointing to his eye, his iris, right? So I was like, wow, the girl's name was Iris, the street's name was Iris. This person that's like, and it was almost like I got it, right? It was almost like I've seen things happen like that where, it's very Matrix like, right? Like where it's almost like something jumps into someone in a bad way. But it was like in this way, like if something jumped in, like, do you see, like, or do you see why this is not a good idea? Do you see why we're trying to get you out of these kind of things so you don't end up here and obviously have some bad news one day, right? So it was very it was freaky, right? I was like, what the hell? Did they really just possess this old man to like be like, do you see? Like, oh man, it was just crazy, right? It was, or it could have been like, we see you, right? So people, I said that in the last video, I think the one I did by myself about how you're never alone, but I see it on a whole nother level. Like, damn, it reminded me even of like that George Lopez thing where he's like, I can't do nothing. He always would say that in his old George Lopez show, right? He'd be like, I can't do nothing.
Hey, what are you doing over there? Nothing.
And that's how I felt. I'm like, damn, man, I can't do nothing. Like, you know, like, I don't know. To me, it's like whatever. It's like, why can't I, whatever? Like, go do that, right? Like to me, it didn't. I was kind of but look at fast forward now. I think they. I still have my like rebellious times where I feel like like I don't know, like this whole experience, right? Like I want to do what the hell I want to do, kind of thing, right? Especially when you look at other people, it's like, well, why doesn't that person? Why doesn't that person thing? But like me, that's how I'm saying. Like it's to that point where things like that, like I can't do nothing. So that was just freaky, right? Like, but I feel it's a good example of I have so many examples of things, but that one popped in my head. Oh yeah, and so when I was thinking of sharing that, I was like, I'm gonna share that story because I was thinking, yeah, like lately I've been wanting to make videos, right? I caught the little like I've been posting like every day now for like even if it was a short or something, I've been posting for like the last I don't know how many, more than a week, right? Every single day. So I was like, and then they boom, it's like they popped this story in my head for some reason, and I was like, nah, I don't want to share that story. And then I was watching this show. I saw that a new season came out of this show that I had watched before, and it had stopped for a long time, right? Because the person in the show had almost died and all this, so they were gone. And then they finally, I guess, did season 3, and I was binge watching it. And like the same day, I think that I was thinking of it, and I was like, nah, I don't know. Maybe I'll just wait. I won't do it yet. Boom, the episode, it's called Iris. And I was like, shut the hell up. And the girl, she was a call girl, like, ex call girl, this and that. Not that this, I don't know. I didn't know too much about this girl. I just knew she was a stripper, right? But this one in the thing is like, she was a call girl, this and that. I won't ruin anything else about the show in case anyone hasn't watched it that likes it. But it was crazy. I was like, what in the hell? Like the let me see if there's anything else significant about that episode, right? Because it was like it was just smack dab right there in my face. Like the whole episode was called Iris, and then the girl's name is Iris, right? So that's the whole thing. That girl's name is Iris, and I don't think that was her real name either. So I was like, I don't know when that. Let me see if this show came out before that experience I had. Let me see, because that will be interesting. Um, I don't think it did. Just to show you how wow, like life, whatever these movie things imitate. I think it came out November 2021. Yeah, so I long had this experience already, right? And then one of the characters, lo and behold, is called Iris, and they're like a call girl and this and that. So the experience, yeah, I had already had it for years and stuff, right? See, they're stealing my stories from the ethers, you know what I mean? So it's pretty crazy. Um, Let me see about that episode real quick. I know I made this a lot longer than it was supposed to be, right? But man, what am I looking at? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'll just do it after something, right? Season. Oh, here it is. Season. Oh yeah, season 3. Okay. I don't know why I was thinking season 4. Boom, boom. So it was episode 5. That's funny. It has 7.7. You know, the thing is 7.7, but the thing is 333. I don't know if that means 333 comments or what. And it's the only one with 333 on the IMDb thing. All of season 3 has 333. So I feel like that's a confirmation for me that I was supposed to share that story, right? So that's just amazing that out of all things, yeah, that it has 333, right? It's the only one. So it says 7.7 rating, and then it says parentheses 333. And another one says 7.7, but it's 317. So that has nothing to do with, like, I guess the rating thing. I don't know, whatever. I don't know if that's like 333 comments or what, but I feel like that's confirmation that I was meant to talk about it. So, okay, maybe that was just for me. So I think that's it. I'll end it on that. Hope you guys with this whole 8-8. I was gonna do a live with someone tomorrow, Friday. So if you're watching this, I was gonna do a live with someone, but it didn't end up going through with Collins, right? This medium that I have interviewed before in Spanish, my only Spanish interview, but we were gonna do it live in English, and she's bilingual. So if anybody wanted to call, we are gonna schedule it for a future date, so I'll stay posted with that. I am doing a live with Collins, I think August 23rd, in case anyone sees this, for August 23rd with Jane, who I've already done Collins with. So if anyone wants to call in and have questions for her, um, I think she wants to talk about a certain subject, but I don't think with Collins sometimes, it could go either way. I guess I'm open to it if she's open to it, and if you want to have questions ready for her. She's an intuitive healer, but I'm sure she's able to tap into other things as well, right? So that live will be August 23rd, I believe, unless something comes up. But right now, I believe we already said for August 23rd. So you guys could stay tuned for that. Like I said, I'm planning to do another live with Doctora. Oh my God, I can't. Daniela Coria. I think there's a name on this, right? Damn, that sucks. Yeah, because I think we had her, but whatever. I'm gonna interview her. We're gonna do a live soon, so stay posted for that. I think that's it. Like I said, hope you guys are well, and I'll end it with that. I think I didn't leave anything out that I'm supposed to talk about. I feel my throat chakra a little more clear. Like I said, it had been bugging me since yesterday, and I think it was because of that. And now it does feel clear. Oh, let me do this real quick then, just in case if any, I've been wanting to pull these card things, so whatever you want to tune out, it's all good if you don't like this kind of stuff, right? But I had been called to, I don't think I've ever pulled a card that it wasn't accurate, right? I just don't do it. Like I've done it for like just people here and there or stuff like that, and well, usually I think with everybody I've done it more just tapping in. Earlier, I know I tapped in and I seen different people, but I don't know what that meant, right? I don't know if it means people that I'm gonna run into later or what exactly that was trying to tell. Oh, that jumped out. So this is called the Oraculo Jade, right? The Jade Oracle. Chihuit, Chihuitle. I don't know how to pronounce Chihuit. She, Chihuit. I think that's how you say it. Turquoise, turquesa, right? Let me see what it means. Man, I should have got my glasses because last time I was having a hard time reading this. Wait, let me because it has it in English and Spanish. So let me look it up real quick because this is a whole different thing, right? Wait, but I'm sure it'll resonate with somebody. Turquoise. When you draw turquoise, you are asked to keep in mind that wisdom is a gift from the heavens. Listen and honor the wisdom that comes to you, and it will lead you to your source of personal power. Chihuil also reminds you to pay attention to your words, for they create your reality. Wow. So that resonated with me for sure, right? And right here, real quick, it says turquoise was a sacred stone prized for its beauty and power. Because of its blue hue, turquoise was associated with the heavens, rain, and fertility. This stone was part of ritual offerings to springs, especially when that water was brought to villages and urban areas through aqueducts or channels. Wow, that's beautiful. So, but everything else it said, wow, that was on point for me, right? Like that was amazing. Let me see. I don't know. I felt like this one. Okay, so I'll just do this one and then I think that's it. This one's called so that was the Oracle Hade, and then this is the Sacred Forest Oracle, right? I'm just gonna do it real quick because I don't know. This is cool. I actually like doing this. I don't know. See, even this has always been something that I like didn't want to do because I know some people don't vibe with like Oracle stuff, tarot stuff. So, but it's not like I haven't interviewed anyone, so I guess I shouldn't have even cared about that, right? Let me see any message for the collective for people on this 8-8 because that one was good for me. I'm sure others related to that too, that thing, but okay, this one doesn't have anything. Something wanted to pop up, but I didn't want it to be forced. Well, okay, bam. Oh wow, and this has been popping up for me a ton. Oh, but it was actually like, well, I'll just show all three that came out, right? So dragonfly and hummingbird, which both have to do with like being able to change directions and you know all that stuff. But the hummingbird also joy, right? So this one's literally change, right? Like I said, being able to change directions, joy, and expansion. Wow. Damn. So yeah, I mean that really makes sense for me, right? But just being able to change and find the joy in that and then expanding, right? 12, 22, and 37. I've been seeing 22 a lot too. That's funny. That's crazy. But yeah, change, joy, expansion. That makes all the sense in the world right now for me. So okay, I'll end it with that. I think that's self-explanatory, right? Because that right away I was saying like about how oh yeah, the hummingbird's always about, right, enjoying like obviously it tastes from the different flowers and this and that, right? So being able to you know to enjoy life while the expansion is happening as well, right? So okay, I'll end it with that. Thank you all. I have that live coming up, but I'm sure I'll have some other interviews in between that time, right? So okay, hope you guys are all well. Peace.